military aid to Israel. So controversial, you can imagine, in the US, but a victory for him nonetheless. Can he take on Rogers, Trump's guy? We're in the UK next.
Interviews with the newsmakers, analysis with the experts. It's Early Edition with Ryan Bridge and Spark for Business. This is News Talk ZB News.
Good morning, it's 5:30. I'm Neva Manu. The wraps are off the new subjects Year 12 and 13 students can choose to take in 2029. Applied Intelligence Systems, Next-Gen Manufacturing and Tourism are among those being offered as part of the new secondary school qualification system being rolled out at the same time. Claudia O'Neill has more.
The subjects have been designed with industry bodies to meet future workforce demands. Education Minister Erica Stanford says students are more engaged when they see the purpose of their learning and how it connects to their goals. Teaching could involve a mix of in-school staff, specialist tutors and private training establishments.
Freezing conditions and snow-soaked roads are increasing the risk of black ice this morning. New Zealanders from Northland to Southland are waking to widespread frost, with NZTA warning roads will be icy. Taupo, Ashburton, Queenstown and Invercargill were all on -4 degrees at 4 a.m. NZTA's Nicole Felt says motorists are being urged to reduce speed, avoid sudden braking and increase following distance. Mental Health Minister Matt Ducey's promising real improvements with a 10-year strategy to address outcomes. His sights are set on eliminating the use of seclusion entirely after it was banned for those under 18 earlier this year. The new strategy outlines 50 actions to speed up access to support, deliver frontline staff and strengthen crisis response. Ducey says the plan integrates health, housing and employment services because these areas all impact recovery. Nearly half of family court-ordered temporary protection orders are taking 4 days or longer to be served on perpetrators. Data obtained by Newstalk ZB shows the average service time nationally has risen from 7 days in 2021 to around 9 to 10 days in recent years. Support Service Aviva General Manager Gwenda Kendrew says the wait period is risky. She says even 1 day is too long for someone to be sitting in a state of insecurity and fear. A push for the courts to better embrace the AI wave. There's been an unmistakable rise in AI-developed court materials, especially by self-representing litigants. It's led to incorrect or false information and fictional legal references being presented. But commercial barrister Josh McBride says court users need to be aware of AI's weaknesses to make the most of its potential.
Should be implementing these sorts of tools themselves, not necessarily for writing judgment in, but certainly in terms of transcription, translation, all the tasks that do follow.
The Office of the Chief Justice says the judiciary is exploring
Bucks. Number 9, GSN Future. Coach Andrew Webster hopes they can keep hookers Wade Egan and Sam Healy, who are off contract at the end of the 2027 season. Both can test the free agent market from November 1st.
We really like Sam. He certainly have one. I'm not going to discuss major details, but we want both of them to stay.
Live Golf Circuit boss Scott O'Neill has announced an agreement with an as-yet unidentified lead investor, which will allow the breakaway league to forge ahead without the backing of Saudi funding while making players major equity holders. He says more than a dozen other parties have indicated an interest in becoming minority investors in their bid for survival. I'm Andrew Alderson, and that's News Talk ZB News and Sport. 25 minutes to 6. Ryan Bridge is next.
Time to forecast for Thursday for the sea area. Stevens, 10-knot variable winds with slight seas. West of Farewell, Spitship, Harbour, a southwest swell of a metre dying out. And in the east, a westerly swell of 1 dying out with a southerly swell of a metre. And across Manawatu today, after a frosty start, mainly fine with just light winds, few clouds around. Today's high 11 degrees in Palmerston North, down to 2 overnight. Tomorrow's 5 with northwesterlies developing during the afternoon and evening, getting to 13. Saturday's partly cloudy with the chance of showers until the afternoon.
News and views you trust to start your day. It's Early Edition with Ryan Bridge and Spark for Business. Technology that keeps business moving. News Talk ZB.
24 minutes away from 6, you're on News Talk ZB. Mitch McKenna is stateside for us shortly. We will go and look at the Michigan race. Also, we will look at the unemployment number just before top of the hour. I'll tell you what, lots of feedback coming in. We spoke to Jordan Williams from the Taxpayers Union about how many bureaucrats are at home on full pay while they're being investigated, either serious misconduct or they're accused of doing something criminal. So they're off work still getting paid. And Jordan said, oh, well, I think probably because they don't know, these public servants don't know the value of the dollar. If this was a private business, they would probably long ago have been just given the sack. This is from a listener this morning. Morning, Ryan. Normally I love Jordan Williams, but as a former public servant, I take umbrage at his, and you can tell they're a former public servant because public servants like to take umbrage. I take umbrage at his description of public servants in this situation. What you'll probably find is that Justice HR team saw this as a Privacy Act issue. So he was talking about the OIA. So your OIA and say how many staff right now have been charged with a criminal offence and are still getting paid by the taxpayer. Give me that information. I'm with Jordan on that one, I have to say, dear listener. I take umbrage with your taking umbrage because you don't have to name them. You can give OIA information without identifying the individual and just say this is how many and this is how much we're paying these guys to sit at home. 22 away from 6.
Ryan Bridge.
Was coming in today. Callum, good morning. All right. So Otago flood protection. What's going on here?
A bit of a project ongoing in South Otago, a $2 million flood protection upgrade at the mouth of South Otago's Puarua River. It's on track to nearly be complete. The work will strengthen the river training wall there, where the river meets the Kowal branch of the Clutha River. It'll improve its ability to cope with future flooding and shifting river flows. These structures, Ryan, were damaged in previous floods and also with the ongoing coastal erosion. The Regional Council says the biggest challenge for this job has been working around the river sea tides and weather. This project started last November and is due to be completed by October.
All right, how's your weather?
I've got a frosty start here, so -3 at the airport, but a fine Dunedin day, light winds, the high 9.
Nice one, thank you. Claire's in Christchurch. Morning, Claire.
Good morning.
Hey, what happened with the amalgamation decision in the end?
Yeah, this was interesting. By the skin of its teeth, Christchurch councillors ended up voting to go it alone for this local government reform against what we heard yesterday was the Mayor's preference. In the end, they decided they'll do the standalone unitary authority rather than any of those mergers with Selwyn and or Waimakariri. It was 9 votes to 8. Councillor Melanie Coker was rather vocal on it. She says taking in other regions would be like a hostile takeover. She said it was akin to forcing a dead rat down the throats of near neighbours and would only prove to the public that politicians of Christchurch simply do not listen. Mayor Phil Major was very upset with the decision and disappointed. He said he disagreed and that expanding would have reflected the way the communities all
6 News Talk ZB. Mitch McCann is stateside for us next.
At FMG, we'd like to tip our hat to the sheep and beef farmers. You're the backbone of farming, because if it's got a backbone, you farm it. Whether it's raising or grazing, heading or herding, drenching or dipping, fattening or finishing, you're the pros at producing premium protein. You keep raising him, we'll keep raising him. And if you need advice and the right kind of insurance for your farm, you'll find FMG everywhere rural happens. Ask around about us or give us a call on 0800 366 466.
Turn up the feel-good 80s. Coast now playing the most feel-good 80s. The most feel-good 80s are on Coast 105.8.
Had an accident? Don't sit on the phone waiting for your insurance company or leave your car there overnight. Call Crash Services. They'll come to you, recover your vehicle and store it safely in their secure indoor lockup, day or night, 24/7. You can call
Why? You're jumping to things. What if somebody has kindly taken it out of the studio because it was, probably to this kitchen, checked it. The dishwashers, checked it. I did wonder why you were wondering over there.
Exactly.
With the comment,
Label on it. Label on it. Do not touch Michael's Kingston.
it doesn't.
It does so.
Oh, embarrassing stuff. Well, I didn't put it on. It is something from yours, that paper.
No, exactly. So the funny thing is, the test was not my upset, because there is no upset. I couldn't give a monkeys. But the test was, in the work environment, how long does it take before people mix up? And it's taken about a year, to be fair. So
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
We're
broadly speaking, we're honest people.
Yes,
for a
we're
period of
honest.
time. Yeah.
But you'll be able to track where it went by looking at the cameras.
I'm going down the cameras. Do you remember that we had an old boss about probably before your time, in fact? But the mess got so bad in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He threatened, and this was on my advice. I said, get cameras in and name people. Anyway, so
And did he?
He put the email out. He said, unless things improve, I'm putting cameras in. He took a Paul Goldsmith approach to it.
There are some filthy people around.
There's no question.
And News Talk ZB is one in
And
particular.
they need, as we celebrate our 100th.
Yeah.
One of the
100 years of being
100
filthy.
years. Well, yeah, that's the point. I mean, what are the issues we can look forward to in the next 100 years? One of my great hopes is we improve our act in the hygiene department.
Yeah, I know it is.
And of course,
Do you
the
know,
other thing.
what we could use, what we could get for here is one of those robot vacuum cleaners I was telling you about the other day.
You seem sold on it.
100%.
I'm not against it. And
Have you looked into it yet?
I've not looked into it because my equipment is so good.
Superior.
Exactly. That I don't know that I necessarily need to. But when it fails and I am in the market, I will be going in. So I will never go into an EV, right? I'm never going to buy an EV. But I'm not against getting into the world of the
Good to
robotic
know.
vacuum.
You're also in the market for a new thermos now.
Very much in the market for a new thermos.
Well, we look forward to that.
I'm open to sponsorship, actually.
That adventure continues next. News Talk ZB.
Is your construction machinery ready for an upgrade? Central Group powers the construction, farming, logistics and infrastructure sectors with leading global brands like Takeuchi and Wacker-Neuson. From purchase to servicing and parts, Central Group ensures your gear is looked after and ready to work. So, maybe it's time you gave Central Group a call.
Some property management companies promise great communication, but if you leave them a voicemail or send an email, they'll leave you waiting. And waiting. And waiting. At Proper, we think that's unacceptable. We respond within 1 working day, because keeping owners informed shouldn't be exceptional. It should be normal. Stop chasing your property manager. See the proper difference at proper.co.nz. That's PROPR. Proper. Property management done proper.
I cried when I was told I had to wear hearing aids. I felt a bit whakamā, because I thought they're not for old people, but they're not. I have to look after myself to look the way I am today. Now my bling, and my bling in my ear. If I can help somebody in our community that cannot hear, and I can take them to appointments, hey, I'm happy.
Don't deny hearing loss, defy it. Visit Resonate at resonatehealth.co.nz.
Your property deserves personal attention. At Personal Property Management, you always know who's managing it. One dedicated manager handles tenants, inspections and your calls. No call centres, no salespeople. PPM, know who's managing your property. personalpm.co.nz.
For over 26,000 Kiwis, the key to their retirement was right there in their walls the whole time. They're finding renovation ideas in their job board.
Ooh, sparkle.
New cars under the floorboards. And debt consolidation in the garage. Leverage your home while keeping your home. With a Heartland Bank reverse mortgage, unlock the possibilities at heartland.co.nz.
Heartland Bank Limited's responsible lending criteria, T's and C's and fees apply.
Say no to that cold, damp feeling. Say yes to DVS for a drier, more comfortable home. Call 0800 DVS DVS.
News Talk ZB News with Brendan Foot Supersite. Test drive the new Kia Niro Hybrid. Holding power to Breakfast with Bailey's Real Estate. This is News Talk ZB News.
Good morning, it's 6 o'clock, 4 degrees in Wellington. I'm Max Toll. Uncertainty over the US war with Iran has left a dent in business hiring intentions. Unemployment climbed to an 11-year high of 5.6% in the 3 months to June, up from 5.3% in the previous quarter. The Employers and Manufacturers Association calls the result not good, but also not surprising. Head of Advocacy, Alan MacDonald, says the fuel crisis hit at exactly the wrong time, and confidence is brittle.
People were starting to look more positively at hiring new people, and of course that just got crushed when things kicked off in the Gulf.
The Prime Minister is being criticised for using military aircraft to head home after a National Party function. In July, Chris Luxon flew from Whanganui to Auckland following a party fundraiser on a Defence Force aircraft. He initially said he had a late-night meeting. Now his office says former National MP Bill Birch's funeral required a last-minute travel change. Labour leader Chris Etienne says it is not justifiable. He says attending a party fundraising event is a bright line. Public resources like Air Force planes should not be used to support those. Fears Kiwi kids are being left at risk as court-ordered temporary protection orders take several days to be served. Data released to News Talk ZB shows victims are often waiting a week or more for respondents to be served with orders designed to provide immediate protection. The average time nationally has risen from an average of 7 days in 2021 to roughly 9 to 10 in recent years. Chief Victims Advisor Ruth Money says people forget protection orders also cover children.
We are using protection orders to, yes, make sure that an adult is safe, but often there are children attached to those protection orders, and that is incredibly vital.
Warnings for